What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Boss Penaloza bringing you a video today. Like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, comment, share with friends. So today we are talking about body recomposition. Body recomposition, what is it and how do you do it? In the most simplest of terms, body recomposition basically just means losing fat and building muscle. Everyone has like a certain amount of muscle they carry and a certain amount of body fat they carry on their body. Body recomposition just basically means that you're trying to change the amount that you're carrying. So just to kind of give an example, and this is going to be kind of an extreme example, let's take someone and let's say this person weighs 100 pounds. If that person were to be, let's just say 50% body fat, right? That would mean that half of their body weight is fat. So if they're trying to go through body recomposition, what they're going to try to do is to lower that fat percentage but bring up some muscle. So they might lose some weight in fat, but they'll replace some of that weight in muscle, if that makes sense. So maybe they lose 10 pounds, but now they weigh 90. But now, instead of, they lost those 10 pounds of fat, but instead of just weighing 90, now they put on 10 pounds of muscle. So now 40 pounds of their total 100 pounds is fat, and now they have 60 pounds of muscle compared to just being 50-50, right? So now they have a 40% body fat, right? So they did a body recomposition. They lowered their body fat and increased their muscle, right? And for most people, usually, I don't like just people losing weight, right? Because whenever people just lose weight, their metabolism adapts, it gets slower, it becomes slower. And if you don't build any muscle, you're just gonna be at a lower metabolic rate than you would if you were to build muscle. And trust me, you do not wanna be there. You don't wanna lose like 10, 15, 20 pounds and just be a smaller person, because whatever it took to get there, you're gonna have to keep doing that, right? And whenever people do like these drastic transformations, these big transformations, usually it's due to them doing a lot of cardio, cutting out a lot of food, and they don't do any resistance training or any weight training. Quick little tangent, this video is sponsored by me. I am doing online coaching. If you need help losing weight and building muscle, body recomping, going through your body recomposition journey, make sure you email me or you fill the form in the description. So there's a couple things you can do in order to have a successful body recomposition. So the first thing I would recommend is to start a weight training or resistance training program. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. Honestly, very basic movements are going to work, especially for beginners. I can make a separate video on the different exercises you can do for body recomposition if you guys would like that. But start weight training, start resistance training. Why? Because this is going to build muscle, and muscle compared to just body fat, it burns more energy, uses more energy for your body to sustain it, compared to, you know, just being at a lower weight. You know, you're imagine an 18-wheeler versus, you know, like a four-door car, right? Which one do you think is going to burn more gasoline? Obviously it's going to be the 18-wheeler, right? Because the 18-wheeler is bigger, it has a lot more mass, so it requires a lot more energy to move. Same thing with us, you know, going from like 200 pounds to 150 pounds, big difference, big change. So the amount of energy, the amount of calories, because that's what our body uses as energy, at 200 pounds is going to be higher than it would if you were to weigh 150, right? And if you were to lose 50 pounds, which is a lot, your body would adapt to that. Your metabolism would adapt to that. So now that you're 150 pounds, your body needs less energy, it's going to burn less calories. But let's say you went from 150 and you were to gain maybe 10, 20 pounds, let's just say. Now your body is going to burn more, right? You're not going to be too heavier in terms of fat, you're going to be heavier in terms of muscle, which is what you want. Muscle, just having more muscle gives you so many benefits. It's not just aesthetics. For most young people, it's going to be aesthetics, and you know, some people it's going to be for strength building, for those purposes. But as you get older, having this muscle is going to be very useful. That's number one. Make sure you start a resistance training program and stay consistent with it. It doesn't have to be anything complicated, and you can honestly start at home. Start with just some really basic exercises, doing some bodyweight squats, doing some push-ups, doing some pull-ups off of your door, stuff like that. That's how I started. I literally started in my room doing push-ups, squats, things like that before I ever touched weights. Number two goes along with this one, because if you aren't feeling your body, you are not going to get the gains you would want. So in order to build more muscle, whenever you start that resistance training, or just whenever you're trying to lose weight, start eating more protein. Just eating more protein is so beneficial. It's gonna help you so much on your weight loss journey, instead of just like cutting out a lot of food. If you replace your meals with like some source of protein, you're gonna feel satiated. if you cook it right, it's gonna be way more fun, you know, to lose weight than like doing like salads and shit like that. I can't do that. I've never done salads. I always have to eat some sort of meat. And also just digesting that protein is gonna require your body to burn more calories compared to eating something like a piece of candy. Also, eating more protein is gonna allow you to build muscle more efficiently. You can build muscle at a lower, by consuming less protein, but you're basically making it harder for yourself. Instead, you want to make sure you're eating enough protein. A good range would be anywhere between 0.7 grams to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh like 170 pounds, you can have 170 grams of protein. You can go a little lower than that. You can go a little bit higher than that. That's okay. You just want to make sure you're consuming enough protein. I'm assuming you're somewhat of a beginner if you clicked on this video. So if you're a beginner and you start a resistance training program, I wouldn't worry too much about your calories. If anything, just get really consistent with lifting. So in order to lose body fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit. In order to gain weight, you have to be in a calorie surplus. And in order to maintain your weight, you have to be at a calorie maintenance. I've done videos about this in the past. I'll probably link one up here or something. But if you're a beginner, don't even worry about this. Just make sure you're consuming enough protein and you're staying consistent with your workout routine. Why? Because if you're a beginner, that stimulus of you starting to lift weights, you're gonna make so much progress. You're brand new to lifting, like you're gonna build like a good amount of muscle in just your first year. So the only thing is just make sure you're eating enough protein, stick with a consistent routine, and also get enough sleep, because sleep is very important when it comes to working out. And that's whenever a lot of the repairing of your muscles and a lot of other mechanisms happen at nighttime when you're sleeping. If you're a little bit more advanced and you've been lifting for, let's say, around 2-3+ years, it's going to be a little bit different. You have to be in a slight calorie deficit if you want to lose weight, or you have to be in a slight calorie surplus if you want to build some muscle. Just because your body isn't sensitive to the stimulus of you lifting weights, so you have to be at either or. You can be at maintenance, but I wouldn't really suggest it. I know there's this whole thing, especially on YouTube, on like main gaining. My stance on that is just like, just do like a slight bulk. You don't have to do anything crazy. Maybe do like 100 calories, 200, 300 calories max over your calorie maintenance, and do that for a long period of time. Just make sure you don't gain excessive weight. If you get fat, like if you get super fat, and you'll know when you're getting super fat, you're overdoing it. Building muscle is already hard enough, you know. Just staying at a calorie maintenance is just gonna make it harder. Just do a slight bulk, you know, like I said, just a couple hundred calories over your maintenance. Like there's a certain person who is gonna get good gains just off of staying at maintenance, but I'd say for most people in general, they would benefit just from bulking in terms of, you know, making progress in the gym, but also sticking to, you know, their diet. You know, just being a little bit more flexible on what they eat. Having those extra 100 calories to eat is going to make it so much easier. You don't have to diet as hard. And of course, if you're not like a bodybuilder, you don't have to like be overly restrictive on like the foods that you're having and everything like that. Just make sure you're eating enough protein. Don't avoid carbs, don't avoid fats. Those are both essential macronutrients you need. And having those extra few calories is going to allow you to, you know, go out and have like dessert with your family, your friends, or do other things whenever, you know, you go out and you eat at a social event, or, you know, whenever you're socializing and you have some food with your friends. You know, it's just going to allow you to stick to your routine and your diet a little bit better. And the last two are going to be time and effort. You want to make sure you're putting a good amount of effort into your workouts. There's some people that want to do like 7 or 8 different exercises for one muscle group. So like, let's say for your chest, if you do 7 to 8 exercises and you can get through that routine, you're not putting enough effort. Like there's no way you're doing 7 to 8 exercises and you're not like dead. You know, I do maybe 2 or 3 exercises and I'm toast. Like I just can't. Like not even professional bodybuilders who are on fucking steroids and all sort of performing enhancing drugs do this amount of exercises. Like just keep it simple, 2 or 3 exercises per muscle group and you'll be good. And also time, this shit takes time, you know. Like I've been working out, it's about to be 4 years since I started working out. I started working out when I was 18. And I would say I have like pretty average genetics. And you know, some people just blow up. They just gain a shit ton of muscle. They have a faster metabolism and shit just works out for them. And other people just have a slower metabolism. It's a little harder. They have to be stricter on their diet, and they just don't pack on as much muscle as like someone else would. And you know, that's all just gonna be different for everybody. We're all dealt a different set of cards, so it's just something you're gonna have to deal with. But just be patient, you know. What's that saying? Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every single day or some shit like that. I don't know. So quick little recap. Make sure you're sticking to a resistance or strength training routine, lifting weights. Make sure you're eating your fucking protein. Make sure you're putting in enough effort, get your sleep in, and also be fucking patient. Like, this shit takes time, I promise you. I could go into more depth into this, but this is the most simplest way I can articulate this to you. Doesn't need to be more complicated than this. Honestly, it doesn't get much more complicated. So if this video was helpful, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, click that bell icon. I appreciate all that. I hope you guys are doing well, and I see you in my next video.